On the distant planet of Zentar Prime, nestled within the vibrant colors of the cosmos, the Zentar people lived a life of serenity and exploration. Their advanced civilization was built on principles of knowledge, harmony, and a deep-seated respect for all forms of life across the universe. This peaceful species had long ago mastered the art of space travel, utilizing sleek vessels that glided silently through the stars. As part of their ongoing commitment to understanding the universe and its inhabitants, the Zentar had recently set their sights on Earth, a planet rich in biodiversity and cultural complexity. Yet, in the midst of their careful planning, a serious debate raged within the Council of Elders, composed of the wisest Zentar minds. As they gathered around the radiant crystalline table in their council chamber, the air was thick with anticipation. Their mission was simple: to select a representative human who would serve as a peaceful ambassador for the Zentar, bridging the gap between their species and humankind. "We cannot choose just anyone," Elder Zareth declared, his voice resonating with authority. "We must find a human who embodies tranquility, one who can demonstrate the beauty of our ways without causing alarm. We seek understanding, not chaos." The other elders nodded in agreement, their large, luminous eyes glinting with the light of the star systems outside. Each of them held a profound reverence for life, and the idea of causing panic among humans was something they wanted to avoid at all costs. Their previous encounters with other species had taught them the importance of subtlety and respect. They needed someone who would blend in, someone who could appreciate their peaceful intentions while serving as a bridge to their planet. A holographic display flickered to life above the council table, showcasing a variety of human candidates sourced from their observations of Earth. Among the faces, they saw individuals from diverse backgrounds: scholars, artists, diplomats, and everyday people living their lives. However, none seemed to meet the strict criteria set by the elders. The Zentar desired someone calm and composed, yet with a depth of understanding that would enable them to facilitate dialogue. As the debate continued, a younger elder named Zephyra, known for her empathy and intuitive insights, suggested a different approach. "What if we expand our search criteria? While serenity is essential, perhaps we should also consider those with an adventurous spirit. They may surprise us with their ability to connect across cultures." The other elders exchanged uncertain glances. The prospect of selecting a more lively candidate was risky, yet intriguing. Could someone with a penchant for mischief or adventure still embody the essence of peace? After much discussion, they decided to incorporate this new idea into their search, believing it could yield unexpected benefits. As the council convened, they closely monitored Earth, filtering through the vast array of information at their disposal. They watched humans engage in various activities, children playing in parks, adults engaged in work, and families gathering for meals. The Zentar observed how humans expressed their emotions through laughter, joy, and at times, conflict. They noted the complexity of human interactions, marveling at the ability to experience such a wide range of feelings. Among the countless individuals observed was a man named Max, with an infectious laugh, a playful demeanor, and an undeniable flair for mischief. Max stood out in stark contrast to the serene candidates the elders had envisioned. He was known for his pranks, often pulling harmless jokes on friends and strangers alike. The Zentar initially dismissed him, fearing that his unpredictable nature would lead to chaos rather than peace. However, as the days passed, the elders began to notice the joy that surrounded Max. His antics, though lighthearted, fostered connection and camaraderie among those around him. He had an innate ability to uplift spirits, disarming tension and fostering laughter. The more they watched, the more they realized that perhaps a different type of peaceful ambassador was necessary, one who could bring levity to serious discussions and serve as a reminder of the joy that connection could bring. "It's decided," Elder Zareth proclaimed one day, his voice echoing through the chamber. "We will invite Max aboard the Orion's Hope. If he can spread joy among humans, he may very well do the same among us. We need to understand the depth of human emotion, and he may teach us lessons we never anticipated." With the decision made, the Zentars' spaceship, the Orion's Hope, prepared for launch. The crew, comprising a loving family unit led by the matriarch, Zira, and her mate, Zarek, set out on their mission. Their 3 children, Zepha, Zala, and Zin, were equally excited and curious about their new human companion. Each of them brought unique qualities to the family dynamic, creating an atmosphere of anticipation as they prepared to welcome someone from a vastly different world. As they approached Earth, the ship glided silently through the atmosphere, cloaked from human detection. The Zentar family gathered around the control panel, their eyes wide with excitement. They were ready to witness the wonders of this new planet, and most importantly, to meet Max. "Remember," Zira reminded her children, "we must approach him gently. Human emotions can be complex, and we must ensure he feels safe in our presence." As the Orion's hope descended toward the vibrant blue planet, the family shared their hopes and concerns, eager to forge a connection with the chosen human. Would he understand their intentions? Would he embrace this new adventure? The Zentar knew that the road ahead was uncertain, but they felt a sense of unity and purpose as they embarked on this journey. Little did they know that Max's playful spirit would soon lead them into a series of unforeseen events, forever changing their perception of what it meant to connect across species. The stage was set for a cosmic adventure filled with laughter, mischief, and ultimately, profound understanding. As they prepared to make contact, the Zentar family could only hope that their decision to bring a prankster into their lives would lead to something truly extraordinary. As the Orion's hope approached Earth, the Zentar family gathered in the control room, their hearts racing with anticipation. The ship glided silently above the clouds, descending through the atmosphere toward a sprawling landscape dotted with greenery and shimmering oceans. Below them, the vibrant hues of the planet contrasted sharply with the sleek metallic sheen of their spacecraft, a reminder of the diversity they were about to explore. "Prepare for landing," Zarek instructed, his hands deftly navigating the controls. Zira stood by, her eyes filled with a mix of excitement and concern. She had a profound sense of responsibility for this mission, knowing that the success of their encounter depended on the approach they took. "Do you think he'll be frightened?" Zala asked, her youthful face etched with concern. She had developed a fondness for Earth and its inhabitants through the data they had collected, and the idea of introducing Max to their family filled her with eagerness. "Humans can be unpredictable," Zephyr replied, her brow furrowed in thought. "But we will be gentle. Our presence should comfort him, not intimidate him." The ship's sensors locked onto a remote area near a lush forest, the perfect spot for a clandestine introduction. As they hovered above the ground, the Zentar family activated their cloaking device, ensuring that their arrival would remain unnoticed by humans. Once landed, they stepped outside, greeted by the scent of damp earth and the sounds of rustling leaves. The forest enveloped them in a cocoon of vibrant life, the air thick with the rich aroma of wildflowers and the distant calls of unseen creatures. The Zentar family took a moment to gather their bearings, absorbing the beauty of the planet that would soon become a backdrop for their adventures. "Max should be nearby," Zira reminded them, her maternal instincts guiding her actions. "We must be careful to respect his space while also reaching out." As they began their search, the family split into pairs. Zira and Zarek moved deeper into the forest, while Zephyr and Zala took a separate path. Zin, always curious, opted to explore the area around the ship, scanning for any signs of Max's presence. The sun filtered through the thick canopy above, casting dappled shadows on the forest floor. Zara felt a thrill of excitement run through her. This was a new beginning, not just for Max but for her family as well. They were venturing into the unknown, ready to embrace whatever adventures awaited them. After a short while, Zephyr spotted something, a flash of color moving amid the greenery. "Over here," she called to her family. The group quickly converged on her location, curiosity piqued. As they approached, they found a clearing where Max was seated on a log, seemingly lost in thought. He was sketching something in the dirt with a stick, his brow furrowed in concentration. Zira felt a wave of warmth wash over her. Here was the child they had come to find. He appeared vulnerable, yet resolute, a mix of childlike wonder and introspection that was incredibly endearing. "Hello, Max," Zira said softly, kneeling down to his level. Her voice was gentle, soothing, as she extended her hand toward him. "We're here to be your friends." Max's eyes widened in surprise, and he instinctively took a step back. The sight of the Zentar, with their glowing eyes and vibrant skin, was both fascinating and intimidating. Zira sensed his fear and continued to speak in a calm, reassuring tone. "You're safe with us. We mean you no harm. My name is Zira, and these are my family members. We've come from afar to meet you." After a moment of hesitation, Max took a cautious step forward, his curiosity slowly overtaking his apprehension. "You're aliens?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "Yes," Zarek answered, his deep voice resonating with a sense of warmth. "But we are friendly aliens. We want to learn about you and help you return to your family." Max's expression shifted from fear to intrigue. "You want to help me?" he asked, his skepticism giving way to hope. "How?" "We'll take you with us on our ship, the Orion's Hope," Zephyr interjected, her excitement bubbling to the surface. "You'll see wonders beyond your imagination." Max's eyes lit up, but a flicker of uncertainty remained. "What if my parents are looking for me?" he asked, a hint of anxiety creeping into his voice. Zira nodded, acknowledging his concern. "We promise to help you find your family, but first, we need you to trust us. We are here to protect you." Max hesitated, glancing back at the forest around him. The fear of the unknown battled with his burgeoning curiosity. Slowly, he reached out his hand, tentatively accepting Zira's offer. "Okay," he said, his voice a bit steadier now. "I'll go with you." With that, the Zentar family led Max back to the Orion's Hope, where they made their way to the ship. As they stepped aboard, Max's eyes widened in awe. The interior was unlike anything he had ever seen, sleek and futuristic, with glowing panels and softly humming machinery. "Wow," he breathed, taking in the sights. "This is amazing." Zer smiled, pleased to see his excitement. "Welcome to your new home for now, Max. We'll make sure you're comfortable." Once inside, the Zentar quickly set about preparing for their journey. They showed Max to his temporary quarters, a cozy space filled with soft cushions and warm blankets. "This will be your room," Zala explained, arranging some of the cushions for him. "We want you to feel at home." Max plopped down onto the cushions, sinking into their softness. He grinned, feeling a sense of belonging begin to blossom in his chest. "Thanks, this is cool," he said, looking around in wonder. "What do we do now?" "Now, we begin our adventure," Zarek replied, his voice filled with enthusiasm. "But first, we need to gather information about your home. We want to ensure we can reunite you with your family safely." As the hours passed, the Zentar family worked together to plan their next steps. They gathered in the common area, poring over maps and data they had collected about Earth. Max sat in, eager to share his knowledge about his planet and its inhabitants. "I can help you," he said excitedly, pointing at various locations on the map. "This is where I lived, and over here is my school. If you go there, maybe we can find my parents." The Zentar family listened intently, absorbing the information he provided. Ethan's perspective proved invaluable as they plotted their course, each detail contributing to a clearer picture of where they might find his family. With a solid plan in place, the Zentar family prepared to set course for Max's hometown. Zira looked at him with a warm smile. "Thank you for helping us understand more about Earth, Max. Together, we'll make this happen." Max nodded, a mixture of excitement and determination in his eyes. The adventure that lay ahead was filled with unknowns, but he felt ready to embrace it, especially with his new alien family by his side. As the ship powered up and lifted off, the Zentar family felt a renewed sense of purpose. They were not just embarking on a mission, they were embarking on a journey of connection and understanding, ready to bridge the gap between their worlds in ways they had never imagined. Together, the Orion's Hope soared through the cosmos, carrying with it the hope of reunification, exploration, and the bond that was beginning to form between a boy and his alien family. As the Orion's Hope glided gracefully through space, Max found himself adjusting to life aboard the ship with a mix of excitement and wonder. The vibrant colors and advanced technology of the Zentar family's vessel intrigued him endlessly. It felt surreal to be part of such a magnificent adventure, especially alongside beings from another world. The ship hummed softly around him, its systems operating with an efficiency that Max marveled at. Each day brought new discoveries, and with the Zentar family by his side, he felt more at home than he had ever anticipated. They had quickly embraced him as one of their own, and his initial fears were being replaced by a sense of belonging. "Today is a special day, Max," Zephyr announced one morning as they gathered in the common area for breakfast. The aroma of exotic food filled the air, tantalizing Max's senses. "We're going to teach you more about our culture and the technology that powers the Orion's Hope." Max's eyes widened with enthusiasm. "What are we going to learn first?" he asked, barely able to contain his excitement. Zir smiled at him, her eyes sparkling with warmth. "We'll start with the hydroponics bay where we grow our food. It's important for you to understand how we sustain ourselves during our journeys through the stars." As they finished their meal, Zala led the way to the hydroponics bay, her demeanor animated. Max followed closely, taking in every detail. The room was filled with lush green plants thriving under a series of bright lights. The atmosphere was vibrant, with the soft sound of water circulating through the system. "Wow, you grow all of this here?" Max exclaimed, his eyes wide as he observed the variety of alien flora. "Yes," Zephyr replied, pride evident in his voice. "We use a combination of advanced technology and natural processes to grow food. It's essential for our survival." Zala guided Max through the various types of plants, explaining their uses and the care required to maintain them. He learned about how they provided sustenance and oxygen, understanding their significance in the ship's ecosystem. "I want to help," Max declared, eager to contribute. He jumped at the chance to assist in watering the plants and monitoring their growth. Zala and Zephyr encouraged him, and soon Max was immersed in the tasks, fascinated by the intricate balance of nature and technology. As the hours passed, Max began to feel a sense of accomplishment. Working alongside the Zentar family not only strengthened their bond, but also filled him with purpose. He was no longer just a lost child. He was part of a team, working toward a common goal. After the hydroponics bay, they headed to the engineering bay, where Zin was busy tinkering with various devices. The room was a playground of innovation, filled with gadgets and tools that sparked Max's imagination. "Zin, can I help?" Max asked, his eyes gleaming with eagerness. "Of course," Zin replied, his enthusiasm contagious. "I'm working on a new device that can improve our communication with other ships. Want to see how it works?" Max nodded excitedly as Zin demonstrated the inner workings of the device. He explained how they used advanced technology to enhance their signal range, allowing them to connect with allies across vast distances. Max listened intently, absorbing every detail. With Zin's guidance, Max began to assist with the project, carefully following instructions and learning about the delicate balance of engineering and design. He marveled at the complexity of the devices, realizing just how much effort went into making them functional. "Can I try?" Max asked, pointing at a small component that looked like it needed adjusting. "Absolutely," Zin encouraged, stepping back to give Max space. "Just be careful and remember what I showed you." Max focused intently as he worked, feeling the thrill of creativity and problem-solving wash over him. The satisfaction of successfully making adjustments to the device filled him with a sense of pride, and he realized that he could contribute in meaningful ways. After an afternoon filled with exploration and learning, the family gathered in the common area for their evening meal. The atmosphere was lively as they shared stories of their day, laughter echoing through the ship. "I helped with the hydroponics bay," Max exclaimed, excitement evident in his voice. "And I learned how to fix a communicator with Zin." The Zentar family responded with cheers, their expressions filled with pride. "You are learning quickly, Max. You are a valuable part of our crew," Zer said, her tone warm and encouraging. Max beamed with joy, feeling the love and acceptance of his new family. However, beneath the surface of their camaraderie, the Zentar family was aware of the challenges ahead. They were still on a mission to reunite Max with his human family, and time was of the essence. One evening, as the stars twinkled outside the ship's windows, Zer gathered the family to discuss their next steps. "We have made great progress, but we must begin planning our approach to finding Max's family. We need to ensure we're ready for any obstacles. Should we contact Earth's authorities?" Zarek suggested, his expression serious. "They might be able to assist in locating his parents. That could be a viable option," Zephyr agreed. "However, we need to consider the implications of revealing our existence to humans." Max listened intently, feeling a mix of hope and anxiety. "What if my parents are looking for me? What if they think I'm gone for good?" he asked, his voice laced with worry. Zer knelt beside him, offering a comforting smile. "We will do everything we can to find them, Max. You are not alone in this." As the meeting concluded, Max felt a renewed sense of determination. He knew that with the Zentar family by his side, he could face any challenges that lay ahead. Together they would navigate the unknown, bridging the gap between their worlds. The following days were filled with preparations. The Zentar family worked tirelessly to gather information about Earth and its inhabitants. They scanned for signals and messages that could provide clues about Max's family. "Today, we will establish a communication link with Earth," Zin announced one afternoon, excitement buzzing in the air. "If all goes well, we'll be able to reach out for assistance." Max watched with fascination as the Zentar family worked together, their teamwork seamless and efficient. They connected various devices and input commands, their movements precise and purposeful. As they activated the communication link, the atmosphere in the control room shifted. They held their breath, hoping for a response. Moments later, a crackling voice came through the speakers. "This is Earth's emergency services. How may we assist you?" Max's heart raced. This was it. They were making contact with Earth. "I'm Max," he shouted excitedly. "I'm looking for my family." The Zentar family exchanged glances, their expressions filled with hope. They had initiated contact, and now they were one step closer to reuniting Max with his loved ones. As the communication continued, Max shared his story with the operators, providing details about his family and their last known location. The Zentar family listened closely, supporting him every step of the way. With the promise of assistance from Earth's authorities, Max felt a wave of relief wash over him. They were making progress, and he had confidence that he would soon be reunited with his family. As the Orion's hope sailed through the cosmos, the Zentar family and Max prepared for the next phase of their journey. Together, they navigated the challenges ahead, united by their bond and the hope of bringing Max back to where he truly belonged. The stars outside glimmered brightly, a reminder that their adventure was far from over. With the communication link established, Max and the Zentar family felt a surge of hope as they prepared to navigate the challenges that lay ahead. The Orion's hope glided smoothly through space, but beneath the surface of their optimism, a new tension was brewing. The urgency of their mission weighed heavily on them, and they knew they needed to stay vigilant. In the days that followed, Max focused on his tasks around the ship while anxiously waiting for a response from Earth's authorities. Each morning, he would check in with the Zentar family, eagerly asking if there were any updates on finding his family. The Zentar, understanding his restlessness, did their best to keep him engaged with various activities and projects. One day, while assisting Zephyr in the hydroponics bay, Max's mind raced with thoughts of his family. "Do you think they're looking for me?" he asked, glancing up from a plant he was tending. "I'm sure they are," Zephyr replied, her tone encouraging. "They love you very much. You're strong, Max, and you will find your way back to them." Max nodded but couldn't shake the worry that gnawed at him. He thought of the last moments before his crash, his parents' faces filled with fear as they watched him disappear. He pushed those thoughts aside, focusing instead on the vibrant plants around him. Helping to nurture them brought him a sense of purpose, but he still felt a growing urgency to reunite with his family. As the sun rose and set in the vastness of space, Max and the Zentar family settled into a rhythm aboard the ship. They would gather for meals, share stories of their cultures, and bond over their experiences. However, as the days passed, the Zentar family began to notice something amiss. The ship's sensors picked up anomalies in the surrounding area, unusual energy signatures that hinted at another vessel's presence. Zarek, the family's protector, was the first to voice his concern. "I don't like this," he said one evening, his brow furrowed as he scanned the readings. "There's a ship lurking in the vicinity, and it's been following us for a few days now." Max's heart raced at the mention of a ship nearby. "Is it another pirate ship?" he asked, anxiety creeping into his voice. Zier stepped forward, her expression serious. "We don't know yet, but we must prepare for any potential threat. We've faced danger before, and we will face it again if necessary." The family sprang into action, their training kicking in as they began to secure the ship. Max watched with admiration as they worked together seamlessly, each member taking on specific roles. Zarek and Zephyr armed themselves with defensive equipment, while Zin activated the ship's security protocols. Zala ensured that the medical bay was ready for any potential injuries, her calm demeanor reassuring. Max wanted to help but felt a surge of helplessness. "What can I do?" he asked, looking to Zer for guidance. "Stay close to us, Max," Zer replied, kneeling to meet his gaze. "You've learned a lot since coming aboard, and we may need your quick thinking if things escalate." Feeling a mix of fear and determination, Max nodded. He was no longer just a child, he was part of the team, and he was ready to do whatever it took to protect his new family. As the ship glided through the dark void, tension filled the air. The Zentar family maintained their watchful vigilance, constantly monitoring the approaching vessel. It was a sleek ship, darker than the Orion's hope, and it maneuvered through space with an ominous grace. Hours turned into what felt like days, and finally, the pirate ship closed in. The Zentar family gathered in the control room, their expressions a mix of focus and resolve. Max's heart raced as he felt the weight of the moment. "They're hailing us," Zarek announced, his voice steady despite the tension. "What should we do?" "Answer it," Zer instructed, her tone calm but firm. "Let's see what they want." As the communication link established, a rough-looking figure appeared on the screen. His demeanor was menacing, and the pirate's voice dripped with sarcasm. Well, what do we have here? A bunch of misfits playing space explorers?" Zarek clenched his jaw, his protective instincts flaring. "What do you want?" he demanded, his tone icy. "Just passing through," the pirate replied with a smirk. "But I can't resist a little fun. Hand over your cargo, and we won't have any trouble." Max's heart pounded. He glanced at the Zentar family, who remained composed but alert. They wouldn't give in to threats. "Why would we hand over anything to a bunch of thugs?" Zephyr retorted, her voice laced with defiance. The pirate's expression darkened, and he leaned closer to the screen. Because you're outnumbered and outgunned. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. Max felt a surge of fear, but also a sense of determination. He had come too far to let these pirates harm his family. As the tension mounted, he remembered the training and lessons he had received from the Zentar. He needed to think quickly. "Zer," Max whispered, his voice urgent. "Can I try something?" Zer glanced at him, assessing the situation. "What do you have in mind, Max?" "I can access the ship's defense systems and create distractions. Maybe we can confuse them," he suggested, drawing on the knowledge he had gained. Zer nodded, her expression filled with trust. "Go for it, but be careful." Max darted to the control panel, his fingers flying over the keys as he accessed the ship's systems. He activated a series of defensive protocols, programming the ship to create holographic projections of multiple vessels. The goal was to mislead the pirates and make it appear as if they were surrounded by an armada. The pirate ship's sensors began to trigger alarms as the holographic projections flickered to life around the Orion's Hope. Max felt a rush of adrenaline as he executed his plan. "What the?" the pirate leader exclaimed, confusion flooding his face as he realized he was being deceived. Seizing the moment of chaos, Zarek shouted orders to the family. "Prepare for battle. We won't let them take anything from us." The Zentar family sprang into action, taking their defensive positions as the pirates scrambled to regain control. The atmosphere became electric with energy and tension, each member of the Zentar family ready to protect their home and each other. Max felt a sense of empowerment as he watched the Zentar family move with precision and courage. He had contributed to their defense in a way that mattered. The family stood united, ready to face the pirates head-on. "Let's show them what we're made of," Zephyr yelled, her voice ringing with determination. The pirates attempted to fire at the holographic ships, but the projections dissolved into light, creating a flurry of confusion. Max took a deep breath, his heart pounding with anticipation. The Zentar family fought valiantly, their skills and training evident as they defended their home. In the midst of the chaos, Max found his place among them. He may have been a human child, but in this moment he felt like a warrior, ready to stand alongside his family. The Zentar family's resilience inspired him, and he was ready to face whatever came next. Together, they would defend their ship and their bond against any threat that came their way. The chaos of battle raged around Max and the Zentar family as the pirates unleashed their fury. The control room buzzed with tension, the air thick with the sounds of alarms blaring and the crackle of energy weapons firing. Max felt the adrenaline coursing through his veins, and despite the fear gnawing at him, he stood tall, ready to fight alongside his new family. As the Zentar advanced, their movements precise and calculated, Max glanced around, observing how each member took on the pirates with fierce determination. Zarek and Zephyr led the charge, engaging the intruders directly, while Zala and Zer worked together to support their family, readying medical supplies for anyone who might be injured in the fray. Zin, with his scientific ingenuity, set up traps that temporarily immobilized some of the pirates, creating openings for the Zentar to exploit. The battle was fierce, with pirate invaders flooding the ship, their intentions clear as they attempted to overpower the Zentar. Max's heart raced as he noticed a group of pirates attempting to flank Zarek. They were shouting orders to each other, their rough voices echoing through the ship. "Zer!" Max called out, his voice rising above the din. "They're coming from behind!" Zer turned sharply, her eyes locking onto the advancing pirates. "Zarek, to your left!" she shouted, but it was too late. One of the pirates lunged at Zarek, aiming for a critical blow. In that instant, time seemed to slow down for Max. He remembered his training and the lessons the Zentar had imparted. "I can help," he shouted, clenching his fists around the stun baton he had used previously. Summoning every ounce of courage, he charged toward the pirate, his heart pounding in his chest. "Get back, kid," one of the pirates yelled, turning just in time to see Max charging forward. But Max was quicker. With a swift motion, he activated the baton and delivered a shock to the pirate's leg, causing him to stumble and fall to the ground with a yelp of surprise. Zarek, stunned by the sudden turn of events, glanced back at Max. "Nice move," he shouted, but there was no time for celebration. The fight raged on, and more pirates were closing in. With the immediate threat neutralized, Max felt a surge of confidence. He worked his way through the chaos, using his size to maneuver quickly around the control room. He disabled traps and activated distractions, channeling everything Zin had taught him about the ship's systems. Each successful maneuver filled him with a sense of pride. "Keep pushing them back," Zephyr called, her voice a rallying cry as she fought alongside Zarek. They were a formidable team, and with Max's help, the Zentar family began to gain the upper hand against the invaders. However, just as it seemed they might turn the tide, Another wave of pirates stormed into the control room, their numbers overwhelming. Panic surged through Max's chest as he realized the battle was far from over. The Zentar family fought valiantly, but it became increasingly clear that they were outmatched. "We need a strategy," Max shouted, desperation creeping into his voice. Zarich grunted as he deflected an incoming blow, his expression focused. "Max, find a way to disrupt their communications. We need to cut off their reinforcements." Max nodded, scanning the room. He recalled the communication system and quickly darted to the control panel. "I can try," he called out, fingers racing across the keys as he accessed the ship's systems. The alarms blared louder, and the tension grew palpable as he worked. Max felt a mixture of fear and determination. He was part of this family, and he wouldn't let them down. Finally, he managed to access the communication protocols, setting them to emit a high-frequency signal that would disrupt the pirates' communications. "Now!" he yelled, activating the signal. The room filled with a loud ringing sound, and the pirates faltered, confusion sweeping over their ranks as their communication systems shorted out. "Great job, Max!" Zephyr cheered, taking advantage of the disarray to push forward against the nearest pirate. The Zentar family capitalized on the chaos, coordinating their movements with newfound energy. Just as victory seemed within reach, the pirate leader, a large and imposing figure, stepped forward. His voice boomed through the control room, carrying an air of authority. "You think you can defeat us with a bunch of tricks? We'll show you true power." Zarich squared his shoulders, preparing to engage. "We won't back down," he growled, his protective instincts flaring. But Max could see the worry etched on his face. The pirate leader was dangerous, and the Zentar family needed to be smart. With a sudden burst of inspiration, Max remembered the hidden turrets that Zin had shown him earlier. "Zarich, the emergency turrets," he shouted, pointing toward the control panel. "We can activate them." "Do it!" Zarich commanded, his eyes locked onto the advancing pirate leader. Max raced back to the control panel, fingers flying as he reconfigured the turret's targeting systems. "I just need a moment," he called out, the tension mounting as he tried to focus. The Zentar family held their ground, fending off attacks while watching Max with bated breath. With a final keystroke, he activated the turrets. The room filled with a whirring sound as the turrets emerged from hidden compartments, targeting the pirate leader and his crew. "Now!" Max shouted. The turrets unleashed a volley of energy blasts, catching the pirates off guard. The leader staggered back, cursing as he struggled to regain his footing. "Retreat!" he yelled, panic breaking through his bravado. One by one, the pirates fled the control room, the tide of battle shifting dramatically. The Zentar family worked together to push the remaining invaders back, reclaiming their ship and asserting their dominance. As the last of the pirates retreated, a cheer erupted from the Zentar family. Max felt a rush of relief and triumph as they turned to him, their expressions a mix of pride and gratitude. "You did it, Max," Zarich exclaimed, his voice filled with awe. "You saved us." Max's heart soared as he looked around at his family, the joy and relief washing over him. He had faced his fears, and together they had triumphed over adversity. Zer knelt beside him, her eyes shining with pride. "You've proven yourself to be a true member of our family, Max. We are honored to have you with us." As the Orion's hope resumed its course, the Zentar family gathered in the common area to celebrate their victory. They shared stories, laughter, and the warmth of camaraderie, knowing that together they could face any challenge that the universe threw their way. Max, feeling a deep sense of belonging, realized that he had not only found a family among the Zentar, but had also discovered the strength and courage that lay within himself. The bond they shared grew stronger with each adventure, and as they sailed through the stars, Max knew he was ready for whatever awaited them on their journey together. The Orion's hope drifted gracefully through the cosmos, its crew enjoying the newfound peace that followed their battle with the pirates. Max felt a swell of pride as he watched the Zentar family go about their routines, each member fully engaged in their tasks. The ship felt more like home than ever, and he reveled in the sense of belonging it provided. But beneath the surface, tensions brewed as the Zentar contemplated their next steps. As days turned into weeks, the bond between Max and the Zentar family deepened. They had faced danger together, and through it all, they had come to rely on one another's strengths. However, a feeling of unrest lingered among the Zentar, particularly in Zer, the matriarch. "Max," she called one evening after dinner, her voice carrying a serious tone. "We need to discuss our next move. Though we've dealt with the immediate threat, the pirates are still out there. We must prepare for potential retaliation." Max sat up straight, his heart racing at the thought. "What do you mean? Do you think they'll come back?" Zer nodded solemnly. "They are likely to retaliate, especially since we disrupted their operations. We need to be ready. Zarek, who had been monitoring the ship's sensors, interjected, "We should consider fortifying our defenses and perhaps look into upgrading our weaponry. It would be wise to prepare for another attack." Max listened intently, his thoughts racing. The idea of facing another pirate invasion filled him with anxiety, but he also felt determined to help. "Is there anything I can do?" he asked, his voice steady. Zer smiled gently, appreciating his eagerness. "Your willingness to help is commendable, Max. We could use your creativity and resourcefulness in coming up with new ideas for our defenses." "Let's brainstorm," Max said, excitement bubbling up inside him. He loved the idea of being part of the solution and using his skills to contribute. The family gathered around a table filled with data pads, maps, and schematics of their ship. They spent hours discussing strategies and brainstorming ways to enhance their defenses. As they exchanged ideas, Max felt a rush of inspiration. "What if we set up automated defense systems in key areas of the ship?" Max suggested. "We could use traps that activate when pirates attempt to breach certain sections. They'd never see it coming." Zin, always fascinated by technology, chimed in. "That's a brilliant idea. We can integrate the ship's systems to monitor for intruders and trigger defenses automatically." The Zentar family began working on the plans immediately, dividing tasks to implement Max's ideas. Zarek and Zephyr took charge of designing the traps, while Zin focused on programming the automated systems. Zer and Zala worked together to ensure that everything was safe for Max, emphasizing the importance of following protocol during the construction. As the team collaborated, Max felt a sense of purpose and belonging. He had grown fond of the Zentar and their commitment to each other. Their teamwork and determination inspired him to give his all, and he was determined not to let them down. Over the next few days, they worked tirelessly to implement Max's ideas. The ship buzzed with activity as they installed automated defense systems and reinforced key entry points. Max found joy in learning new skills and watching as the Zentar family embraced his suggestions with enthusiasm. However, just as they felt prepared, a familiar sense of dread crept back in. One night, as they gathered for their usual evening meal, the ship's alarm sounded again. This time, the tone was urgent and relentless, jolting everyone from their seats. "Zarak!" Zer called out, her voice cutting through the chaos. "What's happening?" Zarak rushed to the control panel, his expression grim. "We have incoming ships. It's a large fleet of pirates, and they're headed straight for us." Max's heart sank. "How did they find us?" he asked, fear threading through his words. "They must have tracked us after our last encounter," Zarek replied, his voice tense. "We need to prepare for a fight. Everyone to your stations." The family sprang into action, each member knowing their role. Max felt a mixture of fear and determination. He had trained for this moment, but the stakes felt higher than before. He rushed to join Zer and Zala, who were preparing medical supplies and coordinating their defense strategy. "Max, stay close to us," Zer instructed, her expression resolute. "We'll need you on the front lines." As the alarms blared, the ship's interior transformed into a hub of frantic activity. Max could feel the adrenaline pumping through him as they fortified their positions. He could hear the echoes of the pirate ships drawing nearer, and he could sense the tension building within the Zentar family. The moment the pirates breached the ship, chaos erupted. The sound of weapons firing echoed through the corridors as the Zentar engaged the intruders. Max took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the situation. He knew he had to stand his ground and protect his family. Zarek and Zephyr led the charge once again, their defensive tactics honed through countless battles. Max positioned himself beside them, ready to help. As the first wave of pirates stormed into the control room, Max swung into action, wielding his stun baton with newfound confidence. "Get back!" he shouted, activating the baton as he struck one of the pirates. The energy surged through the invader, causing him to collapse. The Zentar family fought valiantly, their movements synchronized, each member covering for the other. But the pirates had come prepared, their numbers overwhelming. Max fought bravely alongside the Zentar, his heart racing as he engaged in close combat. He ducked and dodged, using his agility to evade attacks. He could hear the Zentar's battle cries ringing in his ears, their determination fueling his own resolve. "Keep pushing!" Zarek roared, his voice cutting through the noise. "We can't let them take our ship." The battle raged on, the clash of weapons and the shouts of the pirates creating a chaotic symphony. Max felt fear creeping in as he realized they were outnumbered, but as he fought, he also felt a surge of loyalty to his Zentar family. He was determined not to let them down, to protect the family that had taken him in and loved him unconditionally. In a moment of desperation, Max spotted the control panel. He remembered the emergency protocols they had discussed and rushed toward it. "I can activate the defenses," he shouted, his voice filled with urgency. "Do it," Zer called back, her focus unwavering. Max quickly input the commands, activating the ship's automated defenses. The alarms blared louder as turrets emerged from hidden compartments, targeting the pirates with precision. The tide of battle shifted in their favor as the automated defenses began to fire. The pirates, caught off guard, scrambled for cover. Max felt a rush of exhilaration as he saw the Zentar gaining the upper hand. With renewed energy, the Zentar pressed forward, taking advantage of the chaos. They fought with skill and bravery, their bond strengthening as they worked together. As the last of the pirates fell back, defeated, Max let out a cheer, adrenaline flooding through him. "We did it!" he shouted, his heart racing with triumph. The Zentar family gathered around him, their faces filled with relief and gratitude. Zer knelt beside Max, pride shining in her eyes. "You were incredible, Max. Your quick thinking saved us." Zarek placed a hand on Max's shoulder. "You fought bravely, and your actions made all the difference. We are proud to have you as part of our family." As the ship returned to its normal state, the Zentar family took a moment to reflect on the battle they had just endured. They had faced danger head-on, emerging victorious once again. Max felt a profound sense of belonging and acceptance, knowing that he was truly part of this extraordinary family. And so, the Orion's hope sailed through the stars, carrying with it a tale of bravery, loyalty, and the unbreakable bond forged between a human child and an alien family. Together, they navigated the cosmos, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. In the wake of the intense pirate confrontation, the Orion's hope resumed its tranquil voyage through the vast expanse of space. As the crew began to recover from the chaos of the battle, a renewed sense of purpose filled the air. Max felt invigorated by the fight, but the reality of their situation loomed over him like a distant star, a reminder that their time together was drawing to a close. With each passing day, the Zentar family worked tirelessly to ensure Max's safety and well-being. They had become not just protectors but mentors, guiding him through the complexities of life aboard their ship. Zer, Zarek, Zepha, and Zin embraced their roles, showering him with knowledge about their culture, technology, and the universe at large. Zala remained Max's steady companion, always ready with a warm smile and encouragement. As the ship glided through the cosmos, Max continued to assist with daily operations. He reveled in his responsibilities, from helping in the hydroponics bay to learning about the ship's systems in the engineering room. Each task deepened his connection with the Zentar, and he cherished the laughter and camaraderie that filled their days. However, amidst the laughter, an undercurrent of sadness persisted. Max could feel the weight of the impending goodbye, a reality they all tried to ignore but could not escape. He often caught glimpses of Zer's wistful expressions or Zarek's serious demeanor, and he knew they were all grappling with the same emotions. One evening after dinner, the Zentar family gathered in the common area. The atmosphere was unusually quiet as they shared stories and reflected on their adventures together. Max sat with them, feeling a pang of nostalgia wash over him. He loved this family, and the thought of leaving made his heart ache. Zer broke the silence, her voice gentle yet resolute. "Max, we need to talk about our next steps. We've managed to secure the ship and fend off the pirates, but we cannot forget our promise to return you home." Max's heart sank at the mention of home. "I know," he replied, trying to mask the sadness in his voice. "I've been thinking about it a lot." Zarek placed a reassuring hand on Max's shoulder. "It's okay to feel conflicted. You have grown with us and we have become a family. But your human family is waiting for you, and they deserve to have you back." The weight of his words hung in the air. Max nodded, acknowledging the truth in Zarek's statement. "I just wish I could take all of you with me," he admitted, his voice trembling slightly. "I don't want to leave you behind." Zer's eyes softened as she looked at Max. "You will always carry us in your heart no matter where you go. Family is not just about proximity, it's about the love and connection we share." Max felt a wave of warmth at Zer's words, but the impending separation still felt heavy. "I'll miss all of you so much," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "We'll miss you too, Max," Zepha added, her eyes shining with unshed tears. "But this is your journey. You have a life to return to, and we must help you find your way back." The conversation continued, with each member of the Zentar family sharing their favorite memories of their time together. They laughed about the pranks Max had pulled, the moments of panic during the pirate battles, and the quiet evenings spent stargazing. As they reminisced, Max felt a bittersweet smile tugging at his lips. He had found joy and laughter among the Zentar, and he wanted to hold on to every moment. As the ship continued its journey, they approached Earth's orbit. The anticipation built within Max, mingling with the sadness of impending farewell. The Zentar navigated the ship skillfully, guiding it towards a secluded area that Max recognized from his memories. When they finally arrived, the ship hovered just above the treetops of a familiar forest. Max's heart raced as he looked out at the lush greenery, the sights of home flooding back into his mind. But he also felt a deep sorrow knowing that he would soon have to say goodbye to the Zentar family that had become his lifeline. As they prepared for the landing, Max turned to the Zentar, a lump forming in his throat. "I don't want this to be the end," he confessed, tears welling in his eyes. "You all mean so much to me." Zer reached out, pulling him into a comforting embrace. "This is not an end, Max. This is a new beginning. We will always be with you, no matter the distance." Max nodded, feeling comforted by her words, but the weight of his emotions remained. The ship landed softly, and they disembarked, taking a moment to breathe in the familiar sense of Earth. Max's heart raced with excitement, but as he stepped onto the soil, he couldn't shake the feeling of impending loss. As they walked through the forest, guided by Max's memories, he could see the clearing where his family had set up camp. He felt a mix of anticipation and dread, knowing that soon he would be reunited with them. But would they accept everything that had happened to him? Would they understand how much he had changed during his time with the Zentar? The clearing came into view, and Max's breath caught in his throat. There, in the distance, he saw his parents setting up their tent. They looked just as he remembered. His mother's warm smile and his father's strong stature made his heart swell with emotion. But before he could step forward, Zer gently held him back. "Max, remember to take your time. Let this moment unfold naturally." Max nodded, taking a deep breath to steady himself. As they approached, he felt his heart race. The sight of his family brought back memories of love and laughter, of bedtime stories and warm embraces. "Mom! Dad!" he called out, his voice ringing through the clearing. His parents turned, their expressions shifting from confusion to disbelief as they saw him standing there. The joy on their faces was instantaneous. "Ethan!" his mother shouted, rushing towards him, her arms open wide. Max ran into her embrace, feeling the warmth of home envelop him. "I missed you so much," he cried, his tears flowing freely. His father joined in, wrapping his arms around them both. "I thought we lost you forever," his mother sobbed, holding him tight. "I'm here! I'm home!" Max exclaimed, overwhelmed by emotion. As the family reunited, Max felt a mix of joy and heartache. The Zentar family stood back, watching the heartfelt reunion unfold. Their hearts swelled with pride at what Max had accomplished, but also with sadness knowing they would soon part ways. After a few moments, Max stepped back, wiping away his tears. He turned to Zer and the Zentar family, feeling gratitude wash over him. "Thank you for everything. I wouldn't be here without you." Zer stepped forward, her eyes shining with warmth. "You will always be a part of our family, Max. Remember the lessons you learned and carry them with you. We will be watching over you." Max nodded, feeling a weight in his chest. "I promise I will." As he turned back to his parents, the Zentar family stepped away, giving them space to reconnect. But the bond formed between Max and the Zentar would never fade. He would carry them with him, no matter where his journey took him. The sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the forest as Max and his parents embraced once more. The feeling of belonging enveloped him, a bittersweet reminder of the adventure he had experienced. And so, as the stars began to twinkle above, Max knew that his journey was far from over. He had found family in the most unexpected of places, and with that love in his heart, he felt ready to face whatever lay ahead. The Orion's hope would continue its voyage through the stars, carrying with it the memories of a boy who had learned that family transcends all boundaries, whether in the cosmos or right at home. As night enveloped the forest, Max stood between his human parents, feeling the warmth of their embrace while his heart tugged with the memory of the Zentar family who had taken him in. The stars twinkled above like distant dreams waiting to be realized, and he knew deep down that this was not just a homecoming, but a new beginning for everyone involved. "Let's set up camp," Max's father suggested, breaking the emotional moment with practicality. Max nodded, grateful for the grounding nature of familiar routines. He turned to look back at the Zentar, who were standing a little ways off, observing the scene with a mixture of joy and sadness etched across their alien faces. As Max's parents began unpacking supplies, he felt the urge to walk over and express his gratitude once more. "Wait here," he told his mother, who nodded, understanding the unspoken bond that had formed between Max and the Zentar. He walked toward the Zentar family, who were now a little more than silhouettes against the backdrop of the night sky. Zer stepped forward, her presence calming amidst the swirling emotions. "Max," she said softly, "we are so proud of you. You have grown so much during our time together. Thank you for everything," Max replied, his voice earnest. "You've taught me things I'll never forget. I wouldn't be who I am today without you." Zarek stepped forward, placing a reassuring hand on Max's shoulder. "You've shown incredible strength and bravery, Ethan. Remember, family is not just about blood. It's about the bonds we forge." Max smiled through the mist of tears welling in his eyes. "I'll always consider you my family. I promise to keep your teachings close to my heart." Zin, who had always been the most scientific among them, chimed in. "And don't forget about our experiments. You'll always be our partner in exploration." Max laughed, thinking back to the many projects they'd worked on together, the late nights filled with laughter and learning. "I won't forget. I'll be sure to send you updates on my own adventures." With heavy hearts, the Zentar family prepared to leave, but not before Zer gave Max one last hug. "You are never alone, Ethan. No matter where you go, our hearts will be with you." As the Zentar retreated to the ship, Max turned back to his parents, who had been watching the interaction with a mix of confusion and awe. He sensed their unasked questions, and knew it was time to bridge that gap. "Mom, Dad," he said, taking a deep breath, "I want you to meet my family." He gestured toward the Zentar ship, where the gleaming hull reflected the starlight like a beacon. His parents exchanged glances, clearly bewildered but willing to follow his lead. "What do you mean, Max?" his father asked cautiously. "They're the ones who found me," Max explained, his voice steadying. "They rescued me and took care of me. They're different, but they're family. They taught me so much." Zer stepped forward, the glowing lights from the ship illuminating her features, creating an otherworldly yet gentle appearance. "Greetings," she said, her melodic voice echoing softly in the night air. "We are the Zentar. It is an honor to finally meet you, Ethan's parents." Max watched as his parents absorbed this information, their initial shock morphing into curiosity. "Thank you for taking care of our son," his mother said, her voice trembling with emotion. "We've missed him every day." Zarek stepped in, his imposing figure softened by a genuine smile. "Ethan is remarkable. His bravery and curiosity have inspired us all. He is indeed one of us now." Max's father studied the Zentar family, noting the kindness in their eyes and the way they interacted with Max. "You've given him so much," he said, a hint of gratitude in his tone. "We cannot thank you enough for bringing him back to us. Family is a bond that transcends all boundaries," Zer replied, her gaze warm and understanding. "Ethan has enriched our lives as much as we have enriched his. We will always hold him dear." Max felt a swell of pride as he watched the two families interact, an unlikely connection blossoming between them. This was a moment of unity that he had hoped for, and it filled him with hope for the future. As they settled down for the night, Max's family began sharing stories around a small campfire. They spoke of their life on Earth, of the love and adventures they had experienced, while the Zentar shared tales of their travels through the cosmos, of distant worlds and remarkable discoveries. The lines between their backgrounds began to blur, as laughter filled the air and the warmth of friendship enveloped them. Max felt a sense of belonging, a reassurance that he could have multiple families across the stars. The universe was vast and filled with wonders, and each bond he formed only enriched his experience. Later that night, as the fire crackled and the stars twinkled overhead, Max found himself reflecting on everything that had transpired. He knew he had to adapt and grow, not only for himself but also for those he cared about. "Can we come visit you?" Max's mother asked the Zentar, a hopeful expression on her face. Zer nodded, her eyes shining with enthusiasm. "Anytime you wish. You will be welcome aboard the Orion's Hope. We would love to share our world with you." Max grinned at the prospect, imagining adventures yet to come, the journeys they would take together. He envisioned flying through the stars, exploring new worlds, and sharing the beauty of the universe with those he loved. But for now, this was home, both the place that cradled him and the family that had shown him what it meant to be loved. As he looked at his human parents, their faces illuminated by the firelight, and the Zentar family standing together under the expansive night sky, Max felt complete. With dawn just hours away, he realized that this was a new beginning, one filled with promise, adventure, and the strength of bonds that could never be broken. In the heart of the forest, Max had found his way back to where he belonged, and as he closed his eyes, nestled between his families, he knew that his journey through the stars was just beginning. Together, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead, united in love, laughter, and an unbreakable bond that would carry them across galaxies and beyond. With heavy hearts, the Zentar family prepared to leave, but not before Zer gave Max one last hug. "You are never alone, Ethan. No matter where you go, our hearts will be with you." As the Zentar retreated to the ship, Max turned back to his parents, who had been watching the interaction with a mix of confusion and awe. He sensed their unasked questions, and knew it was time to bridge that gap. "Mom, Dad," he said, taking a deep breath, "I want you to meet my family." He gestured toward the Zentar ship, where the gleaming hull reflected the starlight like a beacon. His parents exchanged glances, clearly bewildered but willing to follow his lead. "What do you mean, Max?" his father asked cautiously. "They're the ones who found me," Max explained, his voice steadying. "They rescued me and took care of me. They're different, but they're family. They taught me so much." Zer stepped forward, the glowing lights from the ship illuminating her features, creating an otherworldly yet gentle appearance. "Greetings," she said, her melodic voice echoing softly in the night air. "We are the Zentar. It is an honor to finally meet you." Ethan's parents. Max watched as his parents absorbed this information, their initial shock morphing into curiosity. "Thank you for taking care of our son," his mother said, her voice trembling with emotion. "We've missed him every day." Zarek stepped in, his imposing figure softened by a genuine smile. "Ethan is remarkable. His bravery and curiosity have inspired us all. He is indeed one of us now." Max's father studied the Zentar family, noting the kindness in their eyes and the way they interacted with Max. "You've given him so much," he said, a hint of gratitude in his tone. "We cannot thank you enough for bringing him back to us. Family is a bond that transcends all boundaries," Zer replied, her gaze warm and understanding. "Ethan has enriched our lives as much as we have enriched his. We will always hold him dear." Max felt a swell of pride as he watched the two families interact, an unlikely connection blossoming between them. This was a moment of unity that he had hoped for, and it filled him with hope for the future. As they settled down for the night, Max's family began sharing stories around a small campfire. They spoke of their life on Earth, of the love and adventures they had experienced, while the Zentar shared tales of their travels through the cosmos, of distant worlds and remarkable discoveries. The lines between their backgrounds began to blur, as laughter filled the air and the warmth of friendship enveloped them. Max felt a sense of belonging, a reassurance that he could have multiple families across the stars. The universe was vast and filled with wonders, and each bond he formed only enriched his experience. Later that night, as the fire crackled and the stars twinkled overhead, Max found himself reflecting on everything that had transpired. He knew he had to adapt and grow, not only for himself but also for those he cared about. "Can we come visit you?" Max's mother asked the Zentar, a hopeful expression on her face. Zer nodded, her eyes shining with enthusiasm. "Anytime you wish. You will be welcome aboard the Orion's Hope. We would love to share our world with you." Max grinned at the prospect, imagining adventures yet to come, the journeys they would take together. He envisioned flying through the stars, exploring new worlds, and sharing the beauty of the universe with those he loved. But for now, this was home, both the place that cradled him and the family that had shown him what it meant to be loved. As he looked at his human parents, their faces illuminated by the firelight, and the Zentar family standing together under the expansive night sky, Max felt complete. With dawn just hours away, he realized that this was a new beginning, one filled with promise, adventure, and the strength of bonds that could never be broken. In the heart of the forest, Max had found his way back to where he belonged, and as he closed his eyes, nestled between his families, he knew that his journey through the stars was just beginning. Together, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead, united in love, laughter, and an unbreakable bond that would carry them across galaxies and beyond.